What is up, Team Happy and Fit? Happy Tuesday. Fun fact, what day did you think it was today? Go ahead and tell me in the comments, and I'll tell you what day I thought it was today. I did not think that it was Tuesday. I thought it was Thursday too, Maddie. I was like, it's Thursday, all the things, and I'm like, it's practically Monday. It's not even close. Nope. Okay. So that's fun. We have that going on. And it's just so fun to be able to connect with you. Honestly, you're my constant. You just make my heart happy. I just love that we get to spend time together and talk about happy things. Kim just called me and she's like, man, not everybody else is talking about health and happiness and solutions and a better, brighter picture in all of this. There's a lot of people who are just choosing to not do that. And I'm just so grateful for this community. And it was just refreshing to hear that, because this is a constant if you want it to be. And it's a constant if you continue to work on yourself. So I see a lot of you showing up, and it's been so fun. Like, it's been so fun to see you starting programs. We have some new coaches that are on the line that joined our team that just started their first programs. So you guys all welcome them and congratulate them. It's been cool. Some are starting Size, 21-day fix, all the things. Really cool. And then some of you on here are like, you're getting restarted, like you're back. It's so fun to have you back. And then some of you are like on my 57th program in a row and crushing it. So it's all inspiring because we're all here just wanting to get better. We have a special guest tonight, Sarah Morrison. She's the person I've known the longest in this business. And she's just become a friend of mine. And she just is someone who, if you look at her, it's just happy. Like, her smile lights up rooms. She loves the color orange. She's a mom of two. Fun fact, she had one of her highest coaching months the month she had Oz, when everyone else was at Summit. And we keep talking about that, but I remember as a new coach, I had not gone to that Summit, and I remember Pio, the pinks and the purples and all the stuff, and we had the DVDs, and you were just crushing it. Sarah just shares her joy on social media. She shares her. She's a runner. Fun fact, last year in 2019, she set a goal to run a half marathon every single month, and she completed it. And I just think when we set goals, how big or little they are, it just shows us what is possible. And I just think when we can celebrate those inches, like, she had to think about January and then February, and not necessarily all the way to December. But then when you're at October, you're like, man, I can really do this thing. She's a wife to Chris. He's amazing. He's a really great dancer. So when you see him dancing, make sure to compliment him. She loves Blue Moon, but she also loves really being healthy. A big thing when you'd see on her social media is just all the different ways her and her family eats healthy. Nutrition has changed the game for her on this journey. When she first started, she refused. She worked at the athletic club, and she would hide with a Mountain Dew and French fries under the front desk, and just like didn't want anything to do with this, right? But now she's been a coach for a while, like a decade, almost a decade, and she's hit the Legacy Club, which is accumulation of $1 million. And so she's paying off her mortgage on her house in a way shorter amount of time than what most people would do, because she loves living fit and she loves inspiring other people to live the same way. She has taken this business and compensation plan and lived it out in her own life, and she decided to share it with people. A lot of people live it out in their own life, but they don't share it with people. And Sarah decided she was going to share it with people. She was going to just tell people about these game-changing tools. But the biggest game-changing tool we have is our community. And that's something we've built. So much of Happy and Fit, I'm talking for forever. I promise I'll like have you do it. But it's just so important to like let people know who you are if they don't know you. Is Happy and Fit is such a huge part of how Sarah has led. Like, this is who I've learned from. Like, and so just, I didn't know what a challenge group was. I didn't know anything about building a team with fitness, and Sarah showed me. And so I decided I wanted to make Happy and Fit, and she just loved on me doing that. And so it is so fun to have you here. She is like, she knows a lot in this, and her heart in this is so gold. So Sarah, thank you for being on our call tonight. It's so fun to have you here.
That was by far the best intro ever, because it was like the fun random facts. That I'm stealing that. I steal so many ideas from Julianne. You guys know that you've got like a dynamo leader. Julianne was one of those people who joined my team who I was like, whoa, pull it together. I got to figure some stuff out. Like, this girl wants answers and she wants to take action, and I just got to start running faster. So she's been like some serious positive pressure, and super successful as well. Like, look at all of you. This is so exciting to get to talk to you guys. I'm like your grandma, great grandma coach. And you know what I realized is Julianne was talking about the Millionaire Club or Legacy Club and paying off my mortgage. Tomorrow is April 1st, and that is when my mortgage payment goes through. And then I can pay my principal payment that I've been doing every month, and I can pay off my house tomorrow. Like, tomorrow, within hours. And I'm 38, and we bought this house 5 years ago. So that is just amazing. Like, I didn't start coaching because I'm like, I need something to pay off my mortgage. I started coaching because Trina was doing it and I felt left out. And then I liked Shakeology and I didn't want to pay full price because it's expensive, because I didn't know the value of it. You know, now I don't think that, but that is why I started. It was never because I wanted to pay off my mortgage, but like, you just keep showing up. So I have 7 tips on how to build $1 million business. And like Julianne said, that is like accumulation of all your earnings. You've profited $1 million in this business. And then there's like this special trophy and you're just in this club. Funny story. I had no idea I was in this club. I got an email literally right before Summit last year that, hey, you're going to be on stage at this time for the Legacy Club. And I messaged Trina. I said, what's the Legacy Club? Because they used to be the Millionaires Club. Like, they changed the name. And she's like, do you never look at your earnings? And listen, I look at my back office all the time. I do. I know it really well. It's one of my points on here. But on that home screen now, they have a spot where, like, if you click on earnings, it totals it. I never messed around with that thing. I just go right to, like, coaches added, volume, sponsorship drill down. That's kind of like where I go. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, this is a big deal. And then I forgot about it and I didn't tell anyone. And then I went on stage and I was getting all these texts from people and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this is a big deal, because I want you guys to know that, like, a girl who spent her life half-assing everything, who clung to the title of average, like a badge, can be in the Legacy Club. So like, if I can do it, you can do it. And so the coolest thing about that was just like, I was like, okay, that just inspired a bunch of my friends. Like, I didn't even realize that would. So I'm just going to share stuff that's worked for me. And one of the things that Trina always says is like, you don't have to take away everything. If you take away one thing, I remember I was on a national wake up call and David Ingram, who was like he is a superstar dive one, like the first guy one or something like that. This was probably in 2013. He talked about how his invitations to people and how when he talks about Shakeology, he breaks down the value of what it is. And I was like, oh, wow. And I messaged him and I said, can I please get a copy of that message? And he just sent it to me. I'm like, thank you, David Ingram. He changed my business. Like, it was that one thing where I was like, duh, I'm just saying you get Shakeology. They're like, oh, it's just an expensive shake. So it's the value. Okay. Anyways, thanks for having me on. It's fun to see you all. Thanks for being here. And one more thing. I'm just so happy that we all care about our health, because with everything going on right now, I hope you feel less stress, because I just read a post today. This girl that I'm a friend with, she's training to be a ultra runner, and she tested positive for COVID. And she's like, I need to share my story because there's not enough stories being shared of people who are handling this just fine. There's so much fear out there. And honestly, the best way that we manage COVID is by managing ourselves. But the best way we manage every single problem in our world is by managing ourselves better, from our mindsets to our midsections. And that is what coaching does. That is what coaching does. If everyone got healthier, like that whole stop sharing your workouts thing, I'm just like, could you picture a world where everyone shared a workout? Like, people on here are dental people. You want everyone to brush your teeth, right? Most people, you probably are like, actually, most people don't. But could you imagine a world where everyone did a workout? The world would be happier, healthier, less problems. Anyways, soapbox moment. So I'm just proud of what we do and what we prioritize. Okay, so 7 tips on building $1 million business. Number 1 is belief in yourself and the company. You have to have both of those things. So when I started in 2010, I was like closet coach, rolled my eyes at Shanti, Tony Horton, like didn't want to be on that bandwagon, didn't want to feel like a sellout. I didn't want people to think I was just doing this because Trina was doing this, all sorts of things. And I really didn't do much. Like I signed up my husband. I actually, so it's funny, I say I didn't do much. I did more than the average coach actually does. I did become diamond in that time by like just talking to friends that I knew and signing them up, but I wasn't running challenge groups. I didn't care about Success Club. Um, I didn't hit it whatsoever. I didn't buy Shakeology and HD for a long time. I like spatulaed my Shakeology to get all of it. Didn't have it on weekends. Like very half in coach. And then I went to Summit because again, Trina was going to Summit and I felt like she expected me to go to Summit. So I went to Summit begrudgingly. And they talked about the ultimate reset. And so I was like, fine, I'll do the ultimate reset. Apparently everyone's doing this. And I did it with my husband and I was pregnant, so I felt just amazing. I was like, what's everyone complaining about? Pregnancy is not bad. But he lost 20 pounds. But more than that, he had had his blood work done like a month before. He got it done again after. His cholesterol, his triglycerides alone dropped more than 100 points. His cholesterol, he was risk. And I'm like, you're like 32 and your cholesterol is already a risk zone. So now his cholesterol dropped, his blood pressure dropped. He was sleeping better. Like just all this stuff that I was like, it's not just these physical results, which sometimes I can put in, oh, like that's so vain. We should just be happy. Like we can play all these mind games with ourselves. It was like his internal health. And when I saw that, I was like, anyone who does this will get results. And at that moment, like I had been so scared about like, what if they buy something and they're unhappy? That was just always this fear. And I was like, if someone buys this and does it, their life will be changed. Like I had no doubt about it. So it became so easy to talk about it. So I hit Success Club for the first time ever of December 2012 while I was 8 months pregnant. So it's Christmas and I'm really pregnant. And I sold all Ultimate Reset kits to hit Success Club, which I also think is funny because like that seems harder than what most of us do when we hit Success Club. But it was because that conviction was there. I went to a Super Saturday, January 2013, now 9 months pregnant, saw the Success Club trip, and they said you can get a cruise if you qualify for Success Club every month. And I was like, oh, a cruise with a balcony room was $3,000 because I just had one for my honeymoon. And I'm like, I'm going to get that cruise. So I just pulled out my phone and registered right there while I was 9 months pregnant, had hit Success Club once in my life. But you know what? I never even second guessed it because I just made the decision that it was going to happen because I had the belief in the company. So it's okay. And like for yourself, I think a lot of you on here probably have these beliefs instilled. So maybe think about it even with your teammates. Like it's okay to start with a belief in the company and then grow your belief in yourself, or have your belief in yourself and then grow your belief in the company. Like they both have to be there. But my belief in the company like allowed me to start believing in myself because every time I hit Success Club, I believed in myself more. And then I had these testimonials coming in from people like, hey, this works for me too. Oh, wow, that group you did or what you said really like spoke to me. Like you started to get that validation that way as well. Um, so you have to have it yourself, and then you have to build that belief in your downline. In your downline, if you are someone who's building a business and wants to have a bigger paycheck, part of that is building the belief in your downline. Like when I see inactive coaches, I see people who have gone off with their health. You know, like I being inactive would never happen because I'd be like, oh my God, where's my Shakeology? Where's my Energize? Where's my Power Greens? Like everything needs to be coming to the house. So it is helping your coaches realize the power of what they have. Like, don't be afraid to talk about it. Sometimes I feel like we sign people up and we're like, okay, good. Woo, that's done. I got to get out of here. Like you got to continue to remind people the power of it in your challenge groups too. I talk about Shakeology. It fills in it's your micronutrient vitamin. It fills in the gaps in your nutrition. It feeds your body on a cellular level. You can't argue with that stuff. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is, I like this phrase, take divorce off the table. Someone said it at Summit. So when she said it, it just clicked with me. Like, not that we're talking about marriage or divorce, but like, say you're having a fight with your spouse, which is funny because like when Chris and I fight, he's been through a divorce. He's seen his dad go through 3 divorces. He's seen his mom go through a divorce. He's seen his brother go through a divorce and his sister go through a divorce. I have never seen anyone in my family go through a divorce. So when we fight, I might say stuff sometimes like, why are we, like, how did I end up with someone like you? Like, mean stuff. And I don't mean it, but like, I can't say that to him because he gets super scared because divorce is real to him. So like, I realized in our relationship, like when we fight, divorce is off the table and that makes fighting safe. So just kind of that idea. And so you have to take, what's your divorce in coaching that you're just going to take off the table? Like, it's not an option anymore. Is it quitting? Is it missing a workout, not finishing a program? For me, it was Success Club. Like, it's not an option to not hit it. It's been easy pretty much every month since January 2013 because I always have a plan. I should share this. If I have time with you, remind me. I have like a little Success Club plan that I made for the team to kind of just figure it out. There's been like there was 1 month when I was like deep in postpartum depression after having my son, where I was Success Club 4, and I called my mom for a favor. I'm like, you're getting a PIO challenge pack, Mom. Congratulations. But like, cause it's a non-negotiable. I felt horrible, but I'm like, no, it's a non-negotiable. And I swear just that, like, it seemed like I've always been a stair stepper goal person. I don't like huge goals, but I like half marathon every month. That's like a stair step goal. It's not easy by any means, but it's like, let me just tackle the one this month. Let me tackle the one this month. Success Club is like a stair stepper goal to me because it will move you towards big things. It's going to be work, but it's completely doable work. Some of my other non-negotiables, that was like my main one. And these are just other things that I thought of when I was thinking about this point. Because the thing is, like, consistency is what built a legacy club business. So sometimes I see coaches who do so good and then they just go away for a week. It's not so much that it kills your social media presence. It just kills your own personal momentum and your belief that's starting to build. So some of my other non-negotiables are posting on social media every day. I don't think I have not missed a day since I've made that one. I get back to people within 24 hours of messaging, and I run a challenge group every month. So I heard that Mindy Wender would always say, like, my rule is I get back to people within 24 hours. And I always have messages in my inbox. Julianne brought this up recently when we were talking, that one of the tips I used to give was like, if people felt like they weren't having conversations or wasn't happening, I was like, well, how many messages are in your inbox? And if they say 5, it's like, well, there should be 10. There's probably always, it's probably less nowadays, especially with some on Instagram, some on Facebook, but there's probably always 30 messages, like somewhere to answer. Like, it's just this ongoing, it's like the tide. Okay, here's my new set of seashells to sort through, and let's clear it out, and there'll be more in the morning. So that's like conversations. That's people coming to you. Like, that's your doors open for business. So if you have 5 messages in your inbox right now, try to go to 7. If you have 0, go start some conversations and like be excited when you see 3 waiting for you in the morning. Perfect. Okay, so tip number 3 is put fear in the back seat. Has anyone read Big Magic? I know Julianne has, because I think she's read. She should just be your library, like, connoisseur recommender. No one else? Kim, have you read Big Magic? Yeah, Kim has. I love this book by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's a pretty cover. It's pretty writing. She's just a really good writer. But she had this section in there that stuck with me that, oh yeah, we did read it in Fit and Free for a book club, where she talked about she's on a road trip and she had to realize that fear is always in the car. Like, fear is always in the car on the road trip. You can't ever get rid of it, but you have to tell fear to get in the back seat. You can't let fear drive the car. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, because fear always exists. Like, some of the quotes are like, fear and faith always exist in the same heart, but like, one has to trump the other. Like, they can't coexist. One has to be in charge. So once I realized that, and so much of what Trina's been talking about lately too, is that like, life is 50% pain and 50% joy. And like, just as soon as you realize that's how it's supposed to be, It doesn't feel like the world's crapping on you. It doesn't feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. You just have to deal. It's like, oh, okay, this is what it is. What am I going to do about it? Like, it's just helped me be more rational about, okay, yeah, that's fear showing up again, but I'm not going to let that make a decision for me. Right now, holy moly, can I go off on a tangent? People are letting fear drive their cars into each other. It's a freaking bumper war out there. And I'm sitting back from my coach point of view and I'm like, I'm so glad I already know this. Like, it is harder to tell fear to get in the back seat right now for sure. But I'm like, but I realize that this is fear that's driving so many people's ridiculous reactions and things they're saying and doing. And I'm like, I'm so glad I can realize that that needs to go in the back seat. I just wrote down all of us have fear, but some people let it stop them. A lot of people let it stop them. Excuses to me is fear. You either cling to excuses or you cling to solutions. I got so sick of hearing my own excuses when I finally realized I was saying them all the time. Now I have no compassion to someone who gives me excuses. It's like the meanest part of me because I can't stand them. Like all this stuff in our school district and they can't homeschool and people are like, some people don't have internet. And then I'm like, sometimes I drive when I need a cell phone signal to go do my work and sit in my car and do it. And then I go back, like, how bad do you want to get it done? And they're like, well, some of my families are going to have a car. And I'm like, you are an excuse clinger. Like, we need solution clingers, not excuse clingers. I can't stand it. Excuses are fear. There's a song. And in it, he says, I want a life bigger than the fears I have. Do you guys know that song? It's so good. Every time I hear that line, like I'll be running and it's got like a fun beat and I'm just like not thinking. And always when he says that line, I like hear it crystal clear. Like it's the universe talking to me. I want a life bigger than the fears I have. Oh, it gives me chills. I hope you want that. You can have that. It's not scarcity. You can have a life bigger than the fears you have because you're going to choose to put fear in the back seat. So what helps me when I am feeling the most fear are some grounding thoughts that keep me calm when things feel out of control. I can be like, right now a grounding thought is like, I have my house paid off. I did that. Like, that's such a grounding thought. No matter what happens, like I don't have a job, like the athletic club's closed right now, or, that's a grounding thought. I have my kids. I have my family. Like, I'd be so happy living in my camper if I have to. If we have to like barricade somewhere and be safe. Like some of those are very Armageddon-ish, but I have grounding thoughts that calm me instantly. So know what your grounding thoughts are. Like my husband is like the sound of a chickadee. Like the sound of a chickadee, which is a bird, in case you don't know. Because I really didn't. It just calms him. So like, what is it that would calm you? You need to be able to turn to that tool. So much of coaching is just like being better about managing yourself. Okay, number 4 is the journey is about being authentically you. Julianne just talked about this in our call. Like, it's not being Beachbody. It is just showing up and being you. I just saw a post that Lacey Zuck did. I don't know if she's on this call. She's like out in her farm field in some heavy duty Carhartts, like yelling at Iowa people to stay, like, just freaking mind your business and do what's right. And I'm like, it has like 400 shares. And I was like, holy moly. But that's her being authentically her. Like, she was not worried about what someone might think. She was just like, I'm being me. Like, I was so impressed by that. Yeah. So I know for me that coaching has definitely changed my body. I am the lowest I've ever seen on the scale. That's so exciting. But I've also changed my mindset. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I think better. I like myself better. I'm nicer to people. I'm more compassionate. I had teachers yelling at me because I was asking for the district to communicate some kind of schooling program. We've been 2 weeks without school now with absolutely no word from our district besides school, like how to get food pickup, and telling me to be patient, all this stuff. And I just got them. I just was like, can we get on the phone? Tell me how you're feeling. Because I know they're terrified. They're going to have to get on Zooms. They've never been on a Zoom in their life. They're going to have to teach in a way they've never taught before. Like, I get it. I'm able to put myself in other people's shoes. And when you are, you can also have better human to human conversations. So when you're in a message with someone or there's like an obstacle, like that call that lawyer, negotiator lady did maybe like 3 weeks ago for the national wake up call was so good. And just being like, hey, can you tell me what your hesitation is? Like, it's a safe place to talk about it. I really just want to understand where you're at. Like, let's talk about it. So just realizing that someone's reaction or lack of comment back is probably some kind of fear. And if you can just make them feel safe to talk about it, it helps their life tremendously, whether they buy a challenge pack or not. You're someone they felt safe talking to. Um, Sometimes like sharing your struggles uh can be difficult. I remember when I was sharing a lot more about getting off of Zoloft, which I was freaking proud of because I just knew I did not want to live my life with a medication. But after I had postpartum depression, I also know that I needed it to function. Like, it served its purpose, but I needed to figure out another way. And so I remember sharing my journey with that. And it's one of those topics that people have a lot of opinions on. And I definitely had my eyes open to some other people's views, but I remember talking to Julianne about it and she was like, it's your story. And I'm like, you're right. Like, this is actually like, this is legitimately what happened. So sometimes I'll just ask myself, like, is this my truth? Is this my truth? And if you can say yes, like, don't, like, be willing to be compassionate and see other people's point of view. But if you can say, yes, this is my truth, then just freaking share it and stop worrying so much. One of the things that I do think I was better at before than I am now is I got in my head way less back then. I feel like just like as you coach longer and longer and become more aware, it's almost like there's some scar tissue sometimes. And I think it's not so much learning what to do, but it's learning how to keep the scar tissue pushed away so you can just continue to function how you need to. Like, I look at my Facebook memories and I'm like, I can't believe I posted that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's the graphic. But I'm like, it worked. You know, I just get in my head too much now. And you just really, the biggest thing is to be you. So number 5, the only wrong thing you can do as a coach is to ignore the vital behaviors. I have to put something in here about the vital behaviors because they do work. And then also ignoring the compensation plan. I'm shocked sometimes at my coaches that don't still understand or see that they make a team volume bonus. Trina did not like sit me down and break this all down for me. I don't think I did it really for Julianne. Like, you just, at some point you decide you want to figure it out because you own a business. Like, how do I make money in this? Okay, so let's just talk. I wrote down some of the things I do for vitals. So for personal development, obviously team calls, books. I have started getting up every morning. I meditate. I play Pandora Piano Guys. They have awesome music on there. It's usually like 3-minute to 4-minute songs. I sit at my desk. I open up my palms because apparently that's supposed to be less resistance to the universe. And I just breathe in deep. And so often I'll just breathe in. I'll think I breathe in love. I let out frustration. I breathe in love. I let out doubt. Just getting myself in a better, higher energy. It's really just raising your frequency. Like, that's a legit thing. Like, this pen has a frequency. My glasses have a frequency. My whole body has a frequency. And you can raise your frequency. And when you operate at a better frequency, you attract better things. When you look at it that way, it's just pure science. So that helped me get on board with this whole meditation thing. And I really just had to find my way to do it. And that's how I like to do it, is with Piano Guys, and it just kind of sets the tone. This morning, I honestly just asked the universe to like help all the teachers in, like, because it's just whatever is limiting you or bringing your energy down, like maybe that's what you meditate on, to just like release it and let it go. Anyway, so I'll meditate, and then I usually do some reading in the morning. But then I listen to podcasts a lot when I run. I never miss the National Wake Up Call. Anyone on here say they can always get to the National Wake Up Call? Kim, I knew you'd raise your hand. So even if you don't get them all, like if you could get one once a month, like there's gold in those calls. I have heard things that have changed my business on those calls. Okay, and then recognition. We do team recognition for sure, like a weekly leaderboard and stuff like that. But sometimes what I don't think a lot of coaches do is share what they're doing, like with their groups or how they help someone. So often if someone just sends me a message, like, I'm down 11 pounds since I started with you. Like, my son tried to give me a s'more tonight and I just took a bite and I was fine. I didn't need any more. Thank you so much. I screenshot it and I put it in my story. Or like if someone, or just like before and afters, like of your clients, like actually showing those, like getting in the routine of showing that kind of stuff. Like Unfold is so fun. You could just do a story of people you've worked with. Here's the last 5 women that have joined our team. Like you could just go in Happy and Fit and like, who's the last 5 women that joined our team? And this is, this is Andy. She lives in Milwaukee and is excited to start 10 rounds with us. This is Christine. She's a mom of 2. And like a quick little sentence, like, I like the tip that Trina gave us one time, that it's like, if people don't know what coaching is, they fill it in with the worst case scenario. Because we're just kind of prone to always go for the worst first. It's something you really have to work to fix. So we really have to show people exactly what coaching is. And so like you can show that by giving shout outs to people or like messages that you get, like screenshotting that kind of stuff. So inviting. I do not invite every single day. Let me just say that. However, I invite every single month. So it is just, I've tried trackers, you guys, and they overwhelm me because if I don't get them perfect, like I just had to find the right tracker for me. I actually made one that I absolutely love, but I always have a group that I'm inviting to, and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing for 10 rounds right now. I really wanted to show you the Success Club, or this like plan for Success Club. I wonder, okay, I'll have to look for it later. I don't want to take time for you guys to stare at me while I search for that. But I always have a group that I'm inviting to. Like going into March, I knew how I was going to hit Success Club in March. And actually, so it's February. My plan was I'm going to run a nutrition makeover group and I'm going to have 4 women in it. And that's how I'm going to hit Success Club right away in March, because our plan, we are supposed to be in Gatlinburg. And I was like, I don't want to worry about Success Club if I don't have it yet when I'm in Gatlinburg. So I'm like, I'm going to get it right away. So I hit Success Club 6 on March 2nd because I knew these women and I was like, awesome. And I just said, hey, it's a March group. So I'm going to send you the link first thing on March 1st. And they were like, great, let's do it. And so boom, Success Club. And then now 10 rounds is happening. So I knew I was going to be inviting to that, but I also knew that would carry into April. So we have a sneak peek page. Totally stole that idea from Julianne when she did Transform 20, and it's been a game changer on our team. So we have that where I've been putting a lot of people, and people are signing up as team members. I've signed up 5 coaches this week. I just want to tell you that because I don't want you to think people aren't taking action right now. They are. A lot of people are like looking for something. So I'm at Success Club 17 in March because I had a freaking plan. None of these points were points that just dropped in my lap. And then for April, I plan to hit Success Club with 10 rounds still because we're not starting until April 13th. And I have one girl who was going to get she's ready to sign up as a coach. And she's like, well, what about my bot or something? She didn't need Energize yet. And the pack she was getting was going to have Energize. And I was like, do you want to wait till like April 12th to get it? Because it's not going to change anything. So she's buying that then. And then I have another teacher later who's getting it this week. So like, I know that those points are happening in April. And I'm thinking for May, I might do a running group or I might do a nutrition group. Like I'm already thinking ahead, where are my points coming from? And you have to get really clear about what you're inviting to. I think when people don't know, like if you make a challenge group, but you don't even know how to explain it or get excited about it, it is really hard to use it to hit Success Club. So I know exactly what 10 rounds is going to look like. It's going to feel like we're all going to finish this program together. It's going to be a ton of energy in the group. We're going to have a post up every single morning. They're going to get a superfood shake to help with their nutrition. Oh, I thought it'd be fun. So last time for Bar Blem, every night for the check-in, they checked on their nutrition, and I read an affirmation card. So they got a bonus affirmation card because I love affirmation cards. So I thought in 10 rounds, wouldn't it be fun to talk about fight? And I have on here just some ideas like fight anxiety, fight overwhelm, fight shame, fight fear of failure, fight perfectionism. Because I'm like, right now, people are fighting. big time. Like the fight is on right now. And I just was like, I've kind of stalled my marketing at the moment. Like the event page is still there. Like, but I'm not posting about it as much because now I want to get ready to get customers in. And I'm going to talk about like, who's ready to fight for your health, fight anxiety. Like, I'm not going to go out in there and be like, oh my God, COVID's taking over. Come get in this program. But I am going to talk about that stuff because it's stuff I would talk about anyways, but it's even more important now. So that's what inviting is. And like, of course you can look at your stories. I always like to make an event page as well. And I try to post in there once a day because I think it's another way just for people to see you. I like to have some graphics that I throw up on my stories every now and then. You've seen it where it's like, swipe up to join me in 10 rounds. Here's who's in so far. Here's the quick details on 10 rounds. So when you're doing a launch, think about the multiple ways you can market it. I usually do an event page. I usually have some kind of nice graphic in my stories that shows up a couple times. And I definitely do post about it. And then as I know what my event is, people pop in my head all the time that I'm like, oh, I got to invite her. Because I see her show up on my social media, but I don't have time. So I just write it and I post it. And then when I go to make that event page, I invite all those people that I've been like randomly thinking of. And then if people like those posts, you reach out to them, stuff like that. You get recommendations. Okay, that was a lot of on inviting. And then walk the walk. I just wrote, I would do this anyways. I would walk the walk anyways. Just show it. And show it like, not here's me and my shake. Here's why I love my shake. Here's why I love my Energize. Here's why I love this workout. Number 6, be willing to give to your team without expecting anything back. I have this gold cuff bracelet that says, oh gosh, I think it just says expect nothing. Appreciate and expect nothing. I don't know, but I was like, it didn't mean as much as it means nowadays. Because I feel like there are so many things where I could look at and I could be like, oh, that was such a waste of time. I'm so pissed at that person that they did that to me. Like, it could have been reasons for me to just be like, F this, you know what I mean? But I always had to be like, this is happening because something better is happening later. You just have to, and sorry, that's expecting something to happen, but you can't expect someone to be your next diamond. You just have to show up anyways. You just have to be willing to show up anyways. Number 5 was the only thing wrong you can do as a coach is to ignore the vitals. Number 5 was like all the vital stuff. So you have to expect nothing in return. Investing in people is rewarding, but it's also high risk. I think we've all, well, sorry, not all, kind of talking like maybe me, Kim, Julianne, like some of us longer term coaches on here have had a coach go crazy. Just people's lives, you can't control people's lives. So like free yourself from that responsibility. And you're probably going to have your heart broken by someone at some point in this, but you have to like, it's like that quote where it's like you have 100 raving fans and you have one super mean enemy who's screaming and all your focus is going over here. And so like sometimes I have these coaches that I'm just like, oh, why did I spend so much time on her? Why did I give her that gift? Why did I pay for her? Like, why did I help her go to Summit? Why did I help buy her plane ticket? Like just stuff like that. And they're just gone. Cause I'm like, I could never imagine doing that. But who cares? They're not me. Like they're just going to go do their thing and it just steals my energy if I focus on that. So it's always worth investing in people. If you're not willing to invest in people, you're not going to have a legacy club business. No way. If you're not willing to get in the arena, as Brene Brown says, and get dirty and get marked up, you're never going to have a legacy club business. You're going to have some heartbreak in that. And it's going to come from people that you bring on your team. Just be ready for it and know you're not alone. When you know that will happen, so you know that will happen, but you'll also be able to know that you're going to find amazing people along the way too. And so like I have a note on my computer, like I'm looking for more Juliannes, more Kims, more Jackies, more Sandras, like women that I'm like, I like talking to them no matter what. Like just, they're in this. One of the things I would do for my team to really help is I would run clean weeks all the time, like 5-day clean weeks or 4-day clean weeks. I think we did 4 days back in the day. And I had it all set up where we did a clean week the third Monday of the month. And then we did a 21-day group the first Monday of the month. we did this for maybe like a year total, just as a way for coaches to have something to invite to. So the work was like, I had to organize it all. Like, you're on this day, you're like, lots of logistical, lots of critical thinking that goes into it. Like a Word document with like, here, you're this day, and here's your topic, and here's some suggestions. Like, I was like lesson planning for coaching. And it was a lot of work, but I did it to help my team be more successful. Nowadays it is really the sneak peek groups, and like when there's a launch, we all, like whoever wants to be in 10 rounds, like we all do that group together. um I'll create sample posts for the team about how to post about 10 rounds. Really think about, like, if you're growing a team, think about what you're good at. And I'm good at communication and I'm good at marketing. So I'm like, how can I just give more of that to them? And it is things like sample post, or here's how I would talk about it, or like, send me your conversations. I'll help you with what to write back. On Saturdays, I do a team builder Zoom for people who want to build a team. It's super fun. They have to invite people to coaching each week. On Mondays, we do a team Zoom. And then on Wednesdays, we do a loop, is what we call it. My co-leader of our Firefly team, Amanda, and I hop on a video and just do some fun updates. Okay, and our last tip, number 7. 5149 is what I call it. And we've touched on this throughout this Zoom, but honestly, like, you can't, just like you can't trick your biology, like you can't trick the biology of coaching, which is that you have to have your heart in this and be leading with your heart and with compassion and service at least 51%. And then 49% can be business. Let's get more freedom. Like, let's get some money in the bank account. It can never get 50-50 or go above. Like, you can never want the money and like the success more than the service and the heart. It just will not work. This is a people business, and people can tell. Like, look at all these companies right now. I was on a Zoom with my son's kindergarten teacher today, you guys, for an hour, because she's probably 58, 59. She's probably taught for 30 years. And now all of a sudden she's got to get on a Zoom to see her kindergartners, which I'm so proud of her, because I'm just like, wow, like she never saw this coming. Like, none of us did. But so she kept sending me a link, and I go to click on it and says, the meeting starts at 6 p.m. The host is in another room. Like, have you ever Zoomed and you scheduled a meeting, but really you just need to go to your personal meeting ID and like just start it? So I was trying to explain that to her. So we were on for an hour trying to figure this out. But my point is, like, it's just about like serving and showing up and knowing it's worth it to help this person who's fear. But here was my actual point. She told me that the Zoom account, because I was about to be like, hey, do you want to use my Zoom account? Because I pay for it, because at 45 minutes it's going to shut you off. But before I even had to tell her that, she goes, oh, Zoom just created all the accounts for free. You can stay on however long you want right now. And I was like, I love seeing these companies, because you know what? Like, people need that, and they realize that, but that's so smart from a business position, because people are going to start Zooming and being like, this is so much nicer than FaceTime. Like, I can share my screen with you. I can show you pictures of our vacation. You're in Australia and I'm here. Like, it is a smart business decision, but that's them like leading with service. Like Rogue Fitness, they shut down all production of their products and are creating respirators. Like, just knowing, like, these are things that it's like, they're 51. They are 51. Like, that's awesome. Like, when I heard that Lululemon, sorry, just funny. I feel like every Zaya woman in the world sees that I wears Lululemon and then tries to tell me that Zaya is better than Lulu, which I don't even know. I've never tried Zaya. So if you love it, that's fine. But they don't get how much I love Lulu. I'm just like, I get a discount too on Lulu because I'm a Fit Pro. Anyways, when they close, they're like, we're still paying our whole staff. And I was just like, okay, you're 51. You are 51 in my book. That's what matters more. People are going to know if you're 51. Be about serving them, but you cannot ignore your CEO duties. You have to know your back office. You have to know the policies and procedures, and you have to know how to read your sponsorship drill down. So those are things that are just your business responsibilities. I always laugh because, like, Trina built Bay Athletic Club, which is a brick and mortar business, and she hates the finances. Like, was probably really late all the time doing the accounting each month. But she had to do it because you can't ignore that part of a business. Even though she loved the 51, she loved the changing lives, she loved the people moving, she still had to do that stuff, and you have to do it well. So like, you still have to realize, am I actually like building smart? Like, am I supporting my team by like creating one downline, or people like all over the place in my downline? Things like, this year, I'll just share a funny blooper on my end. So as you are a star diamond, like your team volume bonus maxes out. As a diamond, you can max out at $2,000. As a 1-star diamond, you max out at $3,000, and it goes up from there all the way to $12,000. Like, there are people making $12,000 every single week and plus some in this business. So anyways, I forget, I think it was the launch, maybe Bar Blend or something like that. It was like a week where the volume was extra high because pretty much every coach bought the Bar Blend, which, by the way, we're Beachbody's best customers because we're raving fans. It's really about creating other raving fans. And I was making sure my back office was set, because I was like, I don't want to max out if I drop rank. Like, this is great. I definitely want to get this team volume bonus. Checked everything. Everyone's good. Everything's going to hold. I get up the next morning, and instead of being a 6-star diamond coach, I was a 1-star diamond coach. So that was a loss of like thousands of dollars because you max out. But you want to know what happened? It was my husband's account. So to be a diamond, my husband, like just him, not even coaches under him. One thing I could have controlled so easily. To be a diamond, you have to have 100 PV. And so like, there's not tons of customers under Chris. Like, we order Shakeology under Chris. And I was getting energized under Chris too, but then I had so much that I froze and energized, not thinking like, oh, he's active, he's fine, but you have to have 100 PV to be a diamond. I was pissed, but I couldn't be mad at anyone but myself because I should have known that, you know? So it's things like that. Like, I can't be mad at Trina. She's not checking my downline for me. So you have to know those things and you have to roll with it. I was just like, okay, like, I have to keep moving forward. Like, I'm still super grateful. It's not like I had zero money, but sometimes in business, you're going to have big burns, but you have to be willing to face those if you're also going to have big payoffs. That's it. That's 5149. I already talked. I was going to end with the I breathe in love, I let out hate, but I already talked about the meditating. So, cool. Any questions?
So cool. You're amazing. We love you, and what a treat. And I really loved, I haven't heard you say this before, I want a life bigger than the excuses I have. And I just think that that is something to write on a Post-it, and just
Yes.
every time you're sitting down, and I don't know, just, I think for me, I just love this so much because this has connected us to friendships that I would have never had if I just wouldn't have said yes. And so just thinking about that, of like, in 10 years from now, I'm about to reconnect or meet people that are supposed to be on my path. And it's because I'm choosing to show up now and tomorrow and the next day. And I'm just thankful that you and I are connected in this journey.
Yes.
I have a question for you. Like, what are some, obviously, like, you're paying off your mortgage tomorrow because of your hard work. And Sarah has been doing this for a decade. She's doing this for a decade, and we're telling you that this is going to be the biggest year, the best year. And entrepreneurship is a roller coaster. Like, it's not all roses. Like, there are people who, it hurts your heart sometimes to just watch people give up on this or give up on themselves or whatever. But you've got to believe bigger than all of that. And Sarah has throughout these years. And paying off your mortgage is amazing. But can you share with us, like, from the beginning, maybe looking back, like, for example, I just got new couch covers on our little pillows. And I'm like, I wonder how many other women just want to upgrade their couch pillows, and like with new ones, and can't do that or feel guilty about it. Like, that is a win, and that's an upgrade in my life that like brought me joy. And Eric's like, these look really good. And I'm like, they just make me happy. And quarantine is just making me look at little things like that. So what are some upgrades you've made throughout the year in your life? And it doesn't have to just be financially, it could be friendship wise, but I'm just interested to hear that.
Well, financially, like I remember, and sometimes I tell the story, I didn't tell it tonight, that I got a team volume bonus because I signed up my husband and I signed up my friend Krista, who is no longer a coach, by the way. But I got a $14 team volume bonus. And I was like, what? And I looked at Trina and I was like, I'm just going to make $14. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to go put gas in my tank and go explore a lighthouse I've been wanting to see. Because you guys, I didn't drive anywhere because gas was like, I don't even know the price of gas anymore. Actually, I think it's really cheap right now, but I don't care anymore. I was so like frozen in my life by dependent on the price of gas because I was making like $300 every other week working part-time at a health club. And before that, I was a news reporter and I was making $500 every other week working full-time. It was funny. My friend's on unemployment right now, like a lot of people, and her unemployment check is higher than what I made full-time as a reporter. So just to like feel the freedom to go explore was like such a cool thing. I remember getting a check for $230 with commissions. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I felt like, what do I want to do? I can do whatever I want, is how I felt by just having an extra $230. So upgrades, definitely upgrades in energy. I have an upgrade in energy because I just have better people in my life. So that's a huge upgrade. And people who care about fitness and value their health, I am so happy for that. Like, it's not a place where people make fun of you for having a salad. It's just like, well, yeah, I know exactly why you're having a salad. Like, it's just, this is how I want normal life to be. But yeah, like getting massages whenever I want, getting my nails done whenever I want, buying something for my friend whenever I want. I bought my coach a plane ticket to get to Philly because her roof freaking collapsed the week of. Like, this girl has had so many house problems. And I'm like, I'm buying your plane ticket to come to Philly because I know you want to go and I know you're second guessing it right now. Like,
That is
I just
so
can.
cool. That is
It
like,
feels so good to be able to do that. Paid off my
mhm.
husband's truck. Like,
I think it's just important for people to hear this, and I hope it's okay that I share this, but there was a call that we were on, and you guys, Sarah was the one who was on a Zoom looking at me, and she said, Julianne, there's no difference between you and I. It's just time and consistency. And she said that to me 6 years ago. And I held on to that because I was like, why not me? Like, her saying that made me believe that I could. And I hope that's what you're hearing tonight with like her progression in this and like upgrades and of like friendships and all the things. But you were on a call once and you're like, I just want to have 6 figures in savings again, like after
oh,
you
yep.
pay off your mortgage. And I was like, hold on a second. Like, I thought I dreamt big and bold and crazy and excited because that's what this journey has taught me to do. But when I heard you say that, that was not anywhere in my reality of thinking. And because people have paved the way in this business and they look at me and they say, well, there's no difference between you and I, it's just consistency plus time. Sarah's been in this for a decade. I've been in it for 6 years. And it keeps getting better with time. And I
Mhm.
like keep trusting about that. And I'm like, I can't wait till year 10, but hold on a second. You hold on, through Beachbody coaching, getting fit and helping other people, you can have 6 figures in your savings, not counting like all the debt you've paid off, the mortgage you pay off, all the cars being paid off, possibly having a camper, right? Like just like these things. And then it's not about that, but it's like what that allows the stress-free living in
Oh,
your household. Like there's like no, it's just less
yeah.
junk in the relationships because you're not worried about things that get in the way. Like a lot of people in this time, the last thing I want is someone to feel so trapped when they're struggling in health, right? Is like the last thing they should worry about is money and like how can I help with that. So just hearing you say that, it's consistency plus time. Sarah has just been in this the long haul and she's seen it through when people have quit. I mean, not just like, it's like people, like friends just
Yeah.
quit or question her or just not say nice things about Beachbody, and no one ever leaves at the top of their game. I'm just going to say that right here. Like no one
That is
leaves.
such a good quote.
It's true. Like no one leaves when they're like the most fit, most financially free in this, like the most, like they don't, like they try to use excuses of why it didn't work. And it's like, no, you didn't work. Like that's really how it goes, because this is the total solution. So Sarah has gone on this road of like hitting goals, maybe missing them, whatever, but she's just have stuck to it and has reinvented herself and has discovered things and has just adjusted, course corrected, and learned. But she knew that the best thing to do was to work on herself and share that, and then help one person at a time. And I bet she can give you even more stories of the people she's helped beyond what this has done for her. And I think that that is so powerful. And so Sarah, you've just taught me to dream bigger, because I'm like, yeah, like paying off debt and houses for sure. But then when you were like 6 figures in your, and just in your savings, like let's not even talk about anywhere else. I was like, yeah, that this can do that for you. Like this can buy a plane ticket for a friend. And
Mhm.
because some people say, oh, I'm fine financially. And it's like, it's not about being fine financially. It's about thinking beyond
Not
the
having to
fine.
justify anything.
Yes. Or
If I
like
wanna go buy a
save
pair of
forever.
clothes, like, I love that.
Yeah. And it's just crazy too, because all you have to do is work on, and the reason you were able to sell all those ultimate resets is because you got results, and Chris got results, and it changed your guys' life. Like
Yeah.
that's it. It's like that conviction. You can, it's never the price, but it's
Mhm.
what people are willing to pay. And when they know what it's done for you, done deal.
Yeah. When you
I mean,
show up with enthusiasm and conviction, you're not gonna get objections.
no.